Hey guys, so today we're going to be covering the full guide to Dreammix World TV Fighters. This includes a new tech I discovered, the old stuff, and it's going to be edited so it's not just me clicking on the controller for 2 minutes straight before I actually get into it. So this video I'm going to be using Optimus Prime. I will do character guides for every single character. It's probably going to take me a couple days. And those won't be so heavily edited. They'll be like jump cuts and some other stuff, but usually I'm not going to edit too much. So why don't we just get into it? I don't have my brother here, I just have a second controller. Now before we do it, let's get into the competitive rules. There's only 2 stages, a normal stage and a counter pick. The normal stage is this stage. I can't read Japanese. I just call it Monster Flower, and the second is Crane. That's what I call it. That's how it's named. It's called Craniarch or something, I think, because that's what it looks like. And I picked these 2 stages because they're small and don't have hazards, and items have a very, very tiny, teeny-weeny chance of spawning on them. Now there is 2 other hazardless stages, but they're just too big, like Devastator and Cloudland, but they're just too big for stages. I mean, Devastator might, but I think it's just too big. So let's start. So, let's go over the basic movements while this is going. You can move with both the D-pad on a GameCube controller, or that would be the left stick on the PlayStation 2 version, and the left stick. I'm using D-pad because my Switch Pro controller that I have hooked up is having major drift problems. But holding left makes you go left, holding right makes you go right. There is no crouching, and holding up does not make you jump as there is up attacks. And that's mainly your movement options. You also have shield, which is either shoulder button. Now, unlike normal shields, they do not deplete, as I am using the second controller here. They don't deplete. The only way to beat them is by grabbing, which is with the Y button, which is whatever corresponding button that is on the PlayStation 2. I don't know, I don't have a PlayStation 2. The A button on GameCube is for jump. Your B button is for your normal moves. The X button is for your specials. So let's get into these simple moves you can do. I'm going to move Simon here so you can kind of get a closer look. So the B button with no direction gives you your normal jab, which you can do without hitting an opponent, which is a little weird, but okay. Holding up will do your up attack. Here's Optimus Prime's up attack. These usually cover above you or in front of you and lift your opponent straight into the air. And if you press side and B at the same time, you'll do a forward attack. This is very hard to do, as the timing is pretty strict, so you're really never going to use it, but it is a good burst option. And they're pretty strong most of the time. Now obviously you got aerials, because what's the jumping for? And yes, you can grab in midair, but it doesn't do much. It is a little less laggy than land grab. And as you saw there, that is a back. So aerials are pretty simple. Pressing B in the air with no direction will give you a nair. There's no directional aerials, which is kind of weird because there's directional land attacks, but who cares? And there's no possible way to do that. Now holding down, or not holding down, but pressing down and B while in the air will make you do your down attack. These are pretty fast and go at an angle and go straight down basically. And pressing up and B while in the air will do your up attack. These usually cover above you, but sometimes they don't and they're just kind of weird, like Optimus Prime's here. Like, why not just use this? It's better, and sometimes they give you a little bit of elevation, so yeah. Moai's is the best example of elevation. That is a non-special move or aerial that elevates you super high. Now, speaking of jumps, there's 2 types. Short hops and full hops, like in Smash. But it's not a super strict type. All you gotta do, tap the A button to short hop, hold it to full hop. Simple as that. Now that the basics are covered, grabbing, jumping, normals, shields, and movement, let's go over the specials and techs. So for each character, they have different specials. So I would recommend you watch the other character guides. But for Optimus Prime here, pressing X does his spin attack, and holding right and X does his truck move. Now the main objective of the game, as you saw there, is to get someone's soul out. So at the beginning of a match, you're probably going to want to be hyper aggressive and just beat the crap out of them. And just go boom, boom, boom. Getting multiple consecutive hits is going to get you that win. And as you see, there's a bar at the bottom. This is very important. As you can see, Optimus Prime is at the front. But Simon, let's say Simon over here, hits me. And he collects these hearts. He goes up. So then, he keeps hitting me. And he keeps hitting me. Ah. Now he starts to get further and further. So you want to keep your opponent's face, icon, whatever, as close to the red area, the death area, as possible. Because once they hit that red area, they're going to go straight to letting their soul out. And when your opponent lets your soul out, they become small. Actually, I'll just show it right here. As you can see, the opponent becomes very small. They have higher jumps, but they cannot do their directional. They cannot do their directional special or directional normals, and cannot do specials. Nor can they shield. So it makes them pretty vulnerable. And they also move slightly faster. Now, the more you hit an opponent, as you can see, the blue bar goes down, meaning you're closer and closer to death. Which is very tension. It makes high tension in this game. Now, for the tech. Now that we've gone over neutral, gameplay, moves, etc., let's go over tech. So, a simple movement tech is pressing jump, and then shield. This makes you do a backflip, and holding the button will make you shield. And when you do a backflip, obviously you're invincible, because it's a shield button. And it can be used for quick travel. As a kind of an invincible retreat option, I guess. This is better with the short hop. And there's a few other things, such as air teching, where if you get launched in any direction, pressing the shield will save you. As you saw, that pink aura surrounded me, making me do a backflip, but it saved me from all that extra hit stun. And when I hit the ground, the bar would have gone down, and I would have lost some stuff, and I would have been in hit stun in a long time, because unlike in Smash, there's no such thing as like L canceling or getting up super early, nothing like that. It's very weird, and you just kind of have to mash and hope that you can get up in time. Now the second tech is parrying. So let's say someone tries to hit you. While pressing the shield at the same time they try to hit you, it does a parry, and they get into stun, and you can punish them with any move you like. And that's about it for the advanced techs. But there is something I would like to cover, and that is juggling. Well, I can't show it right now, but So juggling is a very essential part to any game plan, especially Optimus Prime's. So holding up and B will do his up attack, and you can continuously chain these, like this. And you can pretty much do this for infinite, until obviously they get super pinched, where they go into that state. Now, before we end this video, I want to talk about a tech that I secretly found while just goofing around and making the Optimus Prime combo video. Is that if you hold the attack button, or not hold the attack button, but land while doing an aerial, and then press the attack button again, it's the same kind of attack, obviously. But I think this also works with specials. It will cancel all the landing lag from not cancel. Well, I mean, there's not really much landing lag, but landing and then doing a straight attack is very useful. So let's say you're in a situation like this, you know, they're very low. Obviously, bad example. But when I get into the next match, I'll show you a great example. Okay, so now that we're in the next match, I want to point out something. You cannot attack until the bar at the bottom appears. So you just kind of can't do anything. So let's say you're in this situation, right? You know, you're really close. And you miss your nair. Well, just cancel it into an attack. That's all you gotta do. And, well, that's pretty much it. Now, let's talk about this piece of crap. The item. The only item in this game. The egg. So what does this egg do? Well, it has two major things it can do. It can either be left alone and hatch into a ghost, which just attacks the player. It doesn't matter which one, who cracked it, nothing. It just attacks the player. You can break it, which drops heart pieces, and it doesn't do anything. And it's pretty easy to break. Or you can throw it at your opponent, or throw it at yourself, make yourself super slow. Your jumps go the same height for some reason, but you're just super slow. It's like you're walking on sand. Now, if another one could spawn, that'd be great. Now, usually they're not a threat, as you can basically beat them in one hit. And they're just like not even a threat. Like, all you gotta do is you break them and you can get back to the match. Or hell, you'll probably accidentally break them. Even then, the ghosts aren't that big of a problem because you can just punch them. You can kill the ghosts. So either way, it's not too big of a problem. Now, you might have seen earlier when I beat Simon and I was at the top and he was at the bottom, I got a boost. Well, usually that's never gonna happen because you're gonna have stuff like this. You're gonna have stuff like that where it doesn't even trigger, because I think how it works is that when you have the advantage, you're at the top and the other player's at the bottom, it waits a second to check the other player, you know, gets advantage back. And then if the game realizes, oh well, the player hasn't got an advantage, give him a D boost, give the person in the lead a boost. That's not really gonna matter. But what does matter is heart coins. At the beginning of the game, you saw all those coins, right? Actually, what I'll do here is I will restart. Now that I've restarted, see that thing in the middle? That's going to dispense heart coins. Heart coins determine how much health you have, or how close to the heart on the bar you are, which is your max health. And you want to collect the most coin possible in the beginning of a game to make sure that you have the most health. And that's about it. And there's usually heart coins scattered around the stage, like up here, to give you more health. And your opponent drops heart coins, so if you can get them, that gives you more of an advantage. And as you can see, these random things pop up. I don't know what they do. I have absolutely no idea. Yes. So, there's only one item. It's not really a problem. There's one kind of occurrence, but it really rarely ever happens, especially since matches go so fast. So, I really think that this could be a competitive game. It's not as complex as Melee. It's not as, you know, skillful as like something like Street Fighter 4. But it's a fighting game, and I think that it needs recognition in the fighting game scene. Especially since you can play as Optimus Prime versus Solid Snake. What other game are you gonna get that? But jokes aside, it's actually a really good game. I mean, it's not the greatest thing ever invented by mankind. That would probably be Melee, but that was an accident. So the actual greatest game would probably be something else. Maybe Pokemon. Probably, maybe not. Probably Majora's Mask, actually. I would say Majora's Mask is. But I hope you guys enjoyed that guide. And I'll see you in the next one.